Hello. Hey. How is everybody? Everybody doing okay? Yes, we're making brownies tonight. Um, and it is spooky month. So hopefully we'll have some Halloween themed food too. I wore my kind of Halloweeny themey shirt. So yeah, so let's get to it. Oh, work sucks. I know. There's a song lyric that goes with it, right? Okay. So I throw stuff into the floor. It's all good though. So a shirt, twisted fairy tales. I'm too short. But let's get my apron on and let's get to it. And it's always slightly twisted. No, it's not a series that I know of. Kind of fun though. Would be kind of fun. There's probably lots of versions of twisted fairy tales, but not that I'm aware for that one. Let me get this tied up. Okay, so all dressed and ready to bake. Tonight, making brownies. My son requested brownies, so we're going to use this cookbook. He found some that he really liked. Oh, that's where we're at. So we're going to do the first one, and some of y'all will like this because it's got metric and imperial measurements in it, so that makes things quite handy. So that is the goal. We shall see. It's nice fudgy brownies. This recipe, for those days, is 3 eggs, 220 grams or 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons castor or superfine sugar, 300 grams or 2.5 ounces of bittersweet chocolate or dark chocolate broken into pieces, 220 grams or 2 sticks of butter, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1 tablespoon instant coffee granules, 2 tablespoons water boiling, 70 grams or 1.5 cups of self-rising flour, and 100 grams or 2/3 cup chopped walnuts, which we will not use because my son doesn't like nuts. It, it depends. When I was growing up, my grandmother used to make what we called divinity fudge, and the squares for that were literally about 1-inch squares, about the size of my thumb, and they were like chocolate flavored sugar cubes. That stuff was sweet, and so the smaller bits went down easier. Now these would probably go really good with some chocolate milk. They're very chocolate. So someone had asked me earlier today about the difference between something like cake and cupcakes and brownies, and the big difference is these don't rise. These are much denser. They're going to have almost a soft, almost gooey inside, and the top will be slightly dry and slightly crisp. When you pull them out, they're going to look not quite done, but don't leave them in there till the top looks done, because then it'll, yeah. Just trust me. Just don't go. We're gonna try this now. This uses a double boiler, which I don't think I've ever actually used. So this will be, this is the mayhem part of tonight's cooking experience. But yeah, so our first step says preheat the oven to 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit, or gas forward, depending on the type of equipment you have. Then we're going to put the eggs and the sugar into a bowl. We're going to whisk it until it is beaten together and smooth. This is why it needed the smaller grain sugar. The granule sugar would have taken too long, and the powdered sugar probably would have gotten clumpy. So we don't want that. So we're going to whisk the egg and the sugar until it's smooth, thick, and pale. No sugar left in the bowl, so it's completely whisked into the egg. We're going to melt the chocolate and the butter in a double boiler. Now, one thing about a double boiler is when we put it over the water, it's going to be barely simmering water. This will not touch the water because we don't want the chocolate and butter to separate, because we don't want the butter fat to come out of chocolate. We just want it to liquefy. And remember, both butter and chocolate melt right about body temp, so this won't take too long. You don't have to get it hot. Stir frequently until smooth and well mixed. Put the vanilla extract and coffee granules into a cup. Add the boiling water. Stir until dissolved and smooth. Add the melted chocolate and butter to the egg and sugar, followed by the coffee. Stir, fold, flour, then add walnuts, which we will not do. You can probably use pecans too. Put it into the baking pan and bake for 35 to 40 minutes until just firm to the touch. Remove the brownies from the oven and leave to cool in the pan. Then put on a wire rack. They're going to be on parchment paper, so it'll be easy in theory to lift out. That's always an adventure. Brownies should be kept in a room type airtight container, but they're best eaten warm or at room temperature, but they're easier to slice when chilled. So if you don't mind if them coming out a little messy, room temp warm is good. I've never done those kind of brownies, so have fun, Brad, on your holiday. Let me know when the ads are done, and then I will get started. I do have a little bit of weighing to do and a little bit of measuring to do, so I guess I can get started with that while the ads go. So I did set everything out so it wouldn't be quite so cold. I grabbed these. These are 100 grams each, so 3 of those. I've got 72%, 55%, 72%, so it won't be too bitter. But you do want something to not be super sweet, because these are supposed to be really chocolatey, right? You're supposed to feel the chocolate. The eggs, I need to go to the fridge. Ta-da. And so the eggs will go into that bowl. My water with 220 grams of sugar. Get out the scale here. Oh, people are giving out gifts. Thank you. It's always very kind of you guys when you guys share subs, because ads kind of, but I really appreciate that. I'm sure the people receiving the gifts do too. I'm grateful. Okay. Zero it out. Zero it out. And we said how much sugar? So this is a 500-gram thing of sugar, so it's going to be about half of that. It needs to be 220. You didn't need to do that, but thank you. I appreciate it. It's very generous of you. So we said 220 grams. It's a lot of sugar. That's 224, 223, 220. Woo! On the dot. Put that aside. I'll put that in the container later. Okay, so that needs to go ahead and go in that bowl, because that's going to be where the eggs go. I'm going to go ahead and do the butter while I'm at it. So this is a block of butter. There's 250 grams in it. It needs 220 grams of butter. A lot of butter. Don't watch me for healthy food. Just saying. If y'all want healthy food from me, you're gonna have to buy me some healthy food cookbooks, because otherwise you're getting all the butter and sugar. Sorry, not sorry. I like my sweets. Oh, hype train. We like hype trains. Thank you, guys. Unfortunately, I don't have Twitch up in front of me, so when ads and things like that come up, you got to tell me, because I can't see. I have it up in the other room, but because the screen is very small, if I make the text any bigger, it's going to rearrange the whole layout of my screen, and then I can't see anything. So I can't really adjust what I have here. So we said 220 light type trains. Oops. Come on. 197. It's slippery because it's butter. 220. I'll use the rest for the pan. So what it recommended was buttering the pan and then putting the paper in it so it comes out. Oh, thank you guys. Feeling the love tonight. All right. And I think, oh, flour. I need to go ahead and measure out the flour. I had pondered doing all this before, but then I thought, where's the fun in that, right? Okay. And the flour needs 70 grams. So that's not good. Hey, Paolo. Oh, no problem. And enjoy your war. Have fun. Be safe and all that good stuff. Grams. Someone asked the other day about flour measurement. Flour is one of those things that's kind of rough. If you measure it by volume, you got to be very careful not for it to compact because you need it really fluffy. Compacted flour is the wrong measurement. You'll end up with too much, and you'll end up with overly dense whatever it is you're making. When possible, definitely do it by the scale. But for those of us who grew up with imperial measurements, we did it by volume. Yeah, sift it, shake it, don't compact it. Versus brown sugar, which is almost always compacted. I've never seen a recipe say not to have compacted pressed brown sugar. Okay, so I think that's it for the scale. We set that aside. Alrighty. So the eggs and sugar in the bowl. So and then we're gonna whisk all that together. I remember growing up, my mom had one of the old scales that was manual. Problem with those is they're easy to skew. You can fuck up the spring after a bit. I don't know why she had it. She never used it. She didn't bake. She didn't. Come on, flat surface. My ass. One. I'm watching too many baking videos. It was like, bring it on a flat surface. Now I get to clean up the mess because I'm stupid. It's been that kind of day. Two. Come on. And in for a penny, in for a moosed egg. I'm cleaned up in a minute. Try not to make a mess. When you do, you make a bigger mess. The Megan way, right? Okay. I saw nothing, Paulo. Well, it's part of cooking, but you just don't want to keep it to a dull roar. Because I'm like, I'm looking to clean up afterwards. So speaking of what made me think of cleanup is then crock pots. Crock pots are nice because you do everything in one big pot. Um, but my last one, I had thought the crock pot was the problem, but then showing puzzle both my outlets, and so now these outlets are completely they've cut the wire, and so Now I need to, at some point, replace my crock pot. They are very nice to have for stews. I miss a good stew. Okay, so now we're going to whisk this until it's all dissolved. The old-fashioned ones with the solid weights, I think, were probably going to be the most accurate ones because there's not much you can do. I mean, gram is a gram. Digital ones also have the same spring mechanism in it that the manual ones had, which are potentially, you got to be very careful of them. Keep that one in the box. It's got some protection around it so it doesn't get anything heavy set on it. I hate this countertop. I hate it so much because my elbow. This is uncomfortable. But so now I have it's yellow. It's got a little bit of grit in it, so I'm going to give it a little more to make sure it's all thoroughly mixed in. I think that's pretty homogeneous. I'm not seeing anything that said until all the sugar on the bottom is, there's no more sugar on the bottom, I guess it's good, right? Pretty much. So for the moment, I'm not sure if I'm going to need that whisk again, so I'm going to set that there. Next step says melt the chocolate and butter in the double boiler. So I need to start some water. I should have started this sooner, but I'm dumb. It's been that kind of week, man. Because everything is just like taking up my precious brain power. On a good note, don't need too much water. Set that on that burner, crank it up high. Will that be above it? Nope, let's turn a little bit off. Gotta make sure it's not in the water. It doesn't even really need to be boiling. It just needs to be very, very, very warm. It should work. We'll give that a moment to heat up. Yeah, just always something, isn't it? And this time of year is always kind of stressful where you're worried about, winterizing things and then holidays and all of that stuff. It's just how it is. It is what it is. I think I would take that as a sign from the universe. It would just be time to go home. But I've also been, called dramatic and weak and all that too. So the fact that you finished your workday that way, I would not be nice. Get my scale away. I wouldn't call you stupid. Not at all. A little bit stubborn though. A little bit. So we're gonna heat up all of the chocolate and the butter together. And being dark chocolate is really that's a very thin um, bar there, but that's 72% dark. You probably wouldn't have, I mean, I like dark chocolate, but you wouldn't eat like a whole bar of it in the sitting because it's a little dark, a little bitter, a little bit. I don't know if Casey ran off to work. There he is. There he is. I say he drives the big trucks, big 18 wheelers. Yeah, I would say 72% dark. I probably wouldn't. I could eat a little bit of it, but I would want to not eat. I would not be able to handle a whole 100 grams of it. Not even. Because usually I store chocolate in the fridge because it does have such a low melting point. So I did set it out so it would melt a little faster. And the same thing with the butter. But in the vibe, I should have gotten a bigger double boiler here. I'm going to turn the heat off because it's starting to simmer. I'm going to turn it down low, rather. And got to keep an eye on it. Chocolate in the bottom is already starting to shift down. It's also the same way you make candles, because paraffin is flammable. Mm. There you go. Okay. And then once that starts down a little bit, then I'll set the butter on top of it because that's all got to get melted together. But we don't want to separate. We don't want the stuff to separate. It's all good though. Come on, melt. Who's it? Looks like he'll be back. Um, in case he doesn't come back, he's on. Yeah, there he is. That way you don't have overly tired drivers with death machines. Did someone get muted? Sorry. Oops. The bot is merciless. The bot is absolutely merciless. Sorry. Okay. Melty, melty. You got it, kiddo? Okay. Okay. Over the road drivers have different hours. Who are we? How do we, did I miss somebody? Hi. I'm gonna try something. There's a button on here that I've not tried before. Let's try this. So everybody this way because every now and then there's somebody who will be on YouTube, and this way everybody can see everybody. Ta-da! Let's give this a few minutes and give it a try. and if it's not too annoying, we'll leave it. Melty, melty. Oh, touching the pan is not smart. As if shocked. Get in there. This is supposed to be like a 650 milliliter double boiler, and there's like 500 milliliters of stuff once melted. I just need to get it all softened up and like down in the bowl. And that movie back in the day with Steve Martin and Lily Tomlin, Edwina Back in the Bowl. I don't think anybody but me saw that. It's called All of Me. It's a fun little movie. I got that song stuck in my head. All of me, why not take all of me? Mm. Yeah, big rig trucking is all about the safety. I mean, my dad was an over the road driver for some time, and there's all kinds of things that he ignored. Get in there and melt. Okay, there's still about half this butter left, but maybe it'll start getting soft. Back in the day before they had regulators and all that stuff and GPS on trucks and things, there was what you were supposed to do and there's what everyone was actually doing. And very seldom did those two things align. I don't know if it's still a thing, but truck stops used to sell a lot of diet pills. A lot of diet pills. Then they started marketing it as asthma medicine. But yeah, which to be fair, for some people with mild asthma, a little epinephrine, a little caffeine can help open airways for very, very mild attacks. But yeah, in there. It's gonna melt someday. Eventually. Should have the water heated up beforehand. I knew I was forgetting something. There's always something I'm forgetting. This time it was the heating up the water. Oops. So the stream chat thing is not moving, so I'm gonna go. Oh, I tried. We tried. And just tried to adjust the font up a little bit bigger. That was a no go. Okay. Trying to entertain myself while this stuff melts. Melted chocolate. Hurry up. It's starting to get down in it a little bit at least. Oh, I can see where there's some chocolate melting. It'll probably like reach a tipping point and all of it will just go boop. But I don't want the water to boil because I don't want this to get that hot. I don't want the butterfat to separate out of the chocolate. But I just need it liquidy. Energy pills and all the energy drinks that weren't around when my dad was driving. My dad died a couple of years ago, so that heart attack that had nothing to do with any of the stuff that he took. Absolutely nothing. It did it. Come on. Yeah. Yeah. There it goes. The stove is taking forever to get hot. It's the problem. I miss having a gas stove. Gas stove, you just turn it on and there's flame, and then it gets hot. Electric stove, just not the same vibe. Come on. Chocolate's starting to get liquidy. Butter done in it. Set the butter out, but I think because it was still one solid cube, it just wasn't as soft. You probably could do this in a microwave if you had a working microwave. This is a crappy stove. Let's just be real. Um, but yeah, you could probably gently at least soften the butter up in the microwave, but I wouldn't. I don't. So okay, so now it's finally getting soft. Don't want that to boil. Come on. There we go. Now you can't see, but it's definitely melting. Yeah. We need that to clean that up. So I'm learning is I need to do a lot more setup for next time. And there's a question. So once I've done this a little bit more, I haven't done too many episodes of Kitchen Mayhem. Is at some point, do we do redos? And what we learned from this process is now applied to the next round. There's always a question. The chocolate's about melted, but the butter's taking its time. So it has big globs of chocolatey butter in it. It looks away. It looks so things like redoing the cinnamon rolls and more cookies, of course. Nah, I will. I still have to do the June cookies. We said I've got those on the agenda, so I need to do those. I've got planned that pumpkin spice cake thing that will use the baking pan that the Kink sent me for my birthday. I have some other June food planned. It's just kind of a matter of getting some steam together. I like the idea of doing cookies again, especially this time of year. I like baking. I have a really easy white bread recipe that I could do. Super easy. Again, the hard part is just watching me sit here and do stuff and then waiting for it to bake. Okay, I think yeah, the bulk of it is soft. You just got a kind of a heavy clump in the middle. It's gonna take just a minute more. Nah, I think I know what happened last time, so I will not repeat that mistake. That I used the wrong kind of cookie dough to try and do a thing with, and that was, something I will not do again. Solves that problem. Come on, we don't want lumpy chocolate. Yeah, lumpy chocolate. It looks away, but it's coming apart. I think now we're just waiting on the butter to melt. So next time I know to melt the butter first. Put the butter in first, let it soften up over the already hot water. So a chunk of chocolate left in that. So it was all butter. That is not all butter. It's almost all softened up though. The lumps are getting smaller and smaller. I don't want to leave it sit because I don't want it to scald or anything. I'm trying to heat off all the way now because water should be plenty warm enough. It's got one little bit of chocolate left that needs to melt. Oh, my arm. You know, Kitchen Mayhem. I picked the name for a reason, right? Yeah. As far as scaring people off, that's my job. It's getting good though. Okay. Chocolate is stubborn. I need it all to be melted before I can mix it into this though. We're gonna re-stir this because this is looking away. I also need boiling water, so I'm gonna kick the I'm gonna turn my kettle on. Okay. Okay. So we melted the chocolate and butter in a heat proof pan. We're gonna put the vanilla and the coffee in a cup. Sorry if I'm being loud. I don't know if y'all can hear the um, kettle or not. It's loud to me. Yes, shameless plug. Vanilla extract needs 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. One, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. There's just a few bits left in it. And how much coffee? 1 tablespoon of instant coffee. It's got the plenty stuff. Okay, kettle is done. So we've melted the chocolate. Do not let the base For the vanilla extract and coffee granules in the cup, add boiling water. So it needs 2 tablespoons of boiling water. Let's do this over here by the sink. So if I make a mess, it doesn't end up everywhere. 1, 2. Oh, it is later there. And cats are always good for naps. Okay. Stir until dissolved and smooth. That is very dark. We are still making progress. I didn't expect prep time to take me this long, but again, it's all a learning process. Okay, that part is done. Add the melted chocolate and the butter to the egg, followed by the coffee, and then we're going to do the flour. Okay, so add the melted chocolate to the egg. I don't know if y'all can see that, but that is all melted chocolate. Be very careful. The double boiler is very, very hot. It's in over simmering water. So one of the differences, I said before, between brownies and cakes and cupcakes is this is not going to be cakey. It's meant to be chocolatey. Chocolatey. Chocolate. That is all about the coffee infusion stir to mix. Okay. This is still pretty thin. Oh, it smells really good though. It smells really good. But yeah, that's just a big old glob of, 300 grams of dark chocolate. Yeah, it's pretty thin right now. And on my thing, and it says fold in the flour, and if you have them, the walnuts. Use fork for the folding. Probably use a smaller bowl. Live and learn, right? Thank you guys for the subs. I appreciate that. Those ads, they do kind of suck. Okay. I can see why. I mean, why a lot of people like nuts in this because it kind of breaks it up, and walnuts almost have like a little bit of a bitter taste to them, so it kind of gives a different texture and a little different flavor. You could probably use pecans as well, but both are expensive nuts. I like pecans. I like walnuts. I do not like peanuts. Can't stand peanut butter. Cannot stand peanuts. Okay. So this is about the same consistency as cake batter. as far as, but it, yeah, smells amazing. Okay. Num num num. Okay. I set that aside for a moment while I prep my paper. So it recommends oiling the pan and then putting in the parchment paper. No, boiled peanuts are not nice. They're not nice. They smell like no, no, no. My my good friend Debbie used to keep them for my ex. Ugh. To be fair, it's an acquired thing. I respect everybody. You like what you like, right? um, it is a staple. Peanuts are pretty common in the southern states, and peanut butter is pretty much the staple of most kids. Like peanut butter and jelly, peanut butter crackers, Reese's cups, right? So we're gonna butter this. This is a nonstick pan, but even so, always put stuff in. You know, you're just gonna save yourself a lot of aggravation. And again, I use butter. I don't use any of the spray stuff like Pam or whatever. The accelerant in them, the aerosol stuff in it makes it, if you ever get that black gummy stuff on your pans, that's what that is. And it's so hard to get off. Okay. Now, hot water is hot. Hot water is hot. This is a PSA. Okay. I still have my roll of paper that when working on getting rid of it, it arrived this way. I did not do this. It arrived delivered this way. So, put it into the pan and break in our preheated oven, which I did not start because it is too damn hot in here already. So 180 Celsius. Okay, sure. It did arrive this way. The the people who pack stuff up are not paid to do it smart. They're paid to do it fast, and so that's why every time I order anything soft, it will be next to the bottled water. The bread will be next to the bottled water. You order bell pepper, it'll be one bell pepper, not in a sack, in the bottom between the cans of soda and the bottled water every time, guaranteed. 180 degrees Celsius is 350 Fahrenheit. So this book is nice because it does have so 180 Celsius, 350. Yeah, 350 Fahrenheit. My younger self really wishes I had discovered parchment paper sooner. It feels very bougie to like it, but I do. Drive safe. Okay. It says spoon in. Ain't nobody got time for that. It is very thick. A bit like very thick cake batter. And my poor little tiny little wrist is like, this is heavy. Drive safe. It has to be really good. I'm gonna kind of even out a little bit. Okay. 1 second. Hey, kiddo. Had to pass on the bowl and the have to give it to them. It's my birthday, my son's birthday. So yes, he gets the bowl. And then we're gonna stick that in the oven for it says 35 minutes. Set the timer. Yep, that was the plan anyway. You gotta hide my phone this time. Okay, there we go. The bowl is already being returned. Yeah, child isn't sure if they like it or not, but that's okay. We tried it. I have other cake mixes for tomorrow, need be. It is very dark chocolate. Well, I did not get dark, dark. So I mixed two of the dark darks and one kind of sort of dark. Mm. I'll have to see how it comes out. It might be too dark. But chocolate milk with a glass of milk, this would be actually really good. I think that's gonna be the thing is with some milk. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so put this over here for now. Got to burn myself again. I have this talent. Put in there. That in there. That by itself would have been way too bitter for me to try. And then we let that cool off. Put those away. Num 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 num. And I'm not a big makeup person, by the way, as y'all can tell. I'm not real good at this. But I found some lipstick, this shit stays on. this, this shit stays on. It does not move. I can eat, I can drink, I can use straw, whatever. It stays on. Okay. Check something here. Because I don't have any outlets in here, I don't have my laptop plugged in as usual. I have it running on battery. So if it starts getting low, I've got a cable. So we shall see how that goes. Yeah, I think with a big old glass of milk This brownies would be perfect. And if it's still a little too bitter, I know for next time to use maybe instead of two darks and not as dark, maybe two darks and a milk, or two milks and a dark, depending on how feedback goes, right? And I'm going to sit for a moment because I have been vertigo-y all day long, and it got really bad about an hour ago, which is not good. Okay, but yes, fudge brownies. This is the goal. This is the aspiration. Um, then we had he wanted to try. We've got millionaire shortbread. It's quite nice. Gingerbread brownies. I don't know. I don't like gingerbread. Well, I'm very particular about my ginger. Perkin pieces, which are flour, oatmeal, uh, dark brown sugar, ginger, nutmeg, sodium bicarbonate, butter, golden syrup or like corn syrup, black treacle or molasses. That sounds like something very local. I feel it looks really good. I'll have to see what that'll only put on it. That would be very sweet too. But I bet if you had some clotted cream, that would go amazing. Oh, if you want healthier food, someone's gonna need to buy me a healthier food cookbook because this is what I got. I got sugar, I got fat, and I got calories. It's um, white chocolate and blueberry blondies. We have these are cranberry and white chocolate blondies. I do like the sweets. Do like the sweets. Chocolate and hazelnut brownies. I do love hazelnut too. And hazelnuts could be a good nut to try with the other ones. This recipe is 250 grams of dark chocolate, same butter, brown sugar, the granulated sugar, 4 eggs, salt, vanilla, rice flour, cocoa powder, chocolate, baking powder, sodium bicarbonate, chocolate chips, and hazelnuts. So, yo, I heard you like some chocolate in your chocolate. Would you like some chocolate and some? That does look good. Something to try. Hazelnuts they might be expensive here though. I don't know. Bonjour brownies is macadamias and walnuts. And they look really dark. They're being served with espresso, so it's probably something that's going to be pretty stout. We got some energy bars. You want to do anything for energy bars? Orange zest brownies. So citrus often goes really good with dark chocolate. Flour sticky brownies. Looks good. The malted milk tray bake. I don't like malted milk balls. When I was a kid, we used to be able to get malted milk stuff that you put in milk and have instead of a milkshake, it was a malted milk. Or you could get them at places that made milkshakes. You could get a milkshake or a malted milk. And I used to love chocolate malted milk, but you can't find it anymore. The stuff that I used to have, it was kind of like Ovaltine, but not quite. And had almost carbonation to it, a fizz to it, I guess. Not carbonated, but it was a fizz to it that I really remember missing. And haven't seen that stuff in years. Chocolate marshmallow brownies. Because, I heard you need some sugar in your sugar, right? There's sugar. Rocky Road. Brownie whoopie pies. Because we all need more sugar, right? Absolutely need more sugar. This one is 75 grams of dark or bittersweet chocolate, butter, all-purpose flour, cocoa, baking powder, sodium bicarbonate, salt, brown sugar, more sugar, egg, sour cream, And then the buttercream is white chocolate, vanilla extract, butter, icing sugar. Then the chocolate glaze that goes on top of that is dark chocolate, semi-sweet chocolate, sunflower oil, golden syrup, and sugar sprinkles. So that one looks like a lot of work, but I bet it's really tasty. We're kind of in this weird space with food now because food engineers, we've in the 70s and 80s when both parents were working, or single parent households, the convenience foods became a big thing. I mean, they had started creeping up in the 50s, but I think by the 70s and 80s, it really started picking up speed. Things like all the TV dinners and the frozen pot pies and all that. And to try and make them palatable, need a lot of fat and sugar in them because when you freeze stuff and preserve stuff, it just doesn't taste as good. And yeah, we just kind of over time got accustomed to all of the sugar in it. And leaving the States and moving abroad, um, where there's like Germany's got food purity laws, and you can't use all the as much sugar and stuff um, in the same way. There's a high fructose corn syrup, and those things aren't as prevalent. It does taste different. It's like the difference between regular Coke and Mexican Coke. The high fructose corn syrup versus cane sugar. You can taste the difference, and I think it's just getting used to stuff. My concern about removing the fat and the sugar is they're putting a lot of artificial sweeteners in it, which is not good, or things like xylitol, which run right through you. I guess if you really want to lose weight, eat a lot of xylitol, but there's got to be a better way. I had gestational diabetes when I was pregnant with my son, and you're going through the nutritionist because you're eating for two, so you're just like hungry. And at that time, it was available. There was I love Dr Pepper. You could get sugar-free Dr Pepper, and it still tastes like butt. It's diet Dr Peppers. It does not taste like Dr Pepper, and um, there was essentially a sugar-free ice cream, vanilla ice cream. Breyers made it, and it had xylitol in it. Tasted great, but the nutritionist was very adamant. She said, "Don't have more than two servings a week, not for your blood sugar, but because it does things to your digestive system that are unpleasant." Losing weight is complex. Biology is complex. It would be great if eat less, move more worked for most people all the time, but it doesn't. You know, metabolism is a thing, and what's in the food when you eat more or less, it's complex. It's one of those things, best hashed out with a nutritionist if possible. But in general, I think we eat a lot of things that our biology is just not accustomed to. We've evolved in certain ways to eat this much stuff, and we're eating a lot of empty calories. But it's so expensive to eat healthy. Cheesecake is good. Cheesecake is good. I would love to make a cheesecake. A lot of the really good cheesecakes, though, are like an all-day affair. You got to cook them in tons of water and stuff. Yeah, um, I watched my mom yo-yo diet for 30 years. I don't know where she's at now with it, but back then it was Deal a Meal and all the Weight Watcher stuff and the liquid diet stuff and the coffee and canned peaches and cottage cheese stuff and just up and down. She'd lose it and then she'd look at food and get it back, and she ended up with a really um, unhealthy attitude towards food. I had gone to visit one time, and I'd gone and bought some steaks, and I bought for salad stuff and baked potato and everything, and he nothing in it. I mean, I used butter. I mean, it was a healthy meal. It was low fat steaks. I mean, they were grilled, so they weren't dripping anything. and she had gotten the salad and the potato and the steak, and she's like, "Oh, this is just so bad for me." And I'm like, "There's nothing on that plate that's bad for you." Um, you need carbohydrates, you need the macronutrients that are in potatoes. The peel's good for you. You need protein and iron, vitamin K, and fiber and water, and all of those things. Um, but we tend to have portions that are too big. Um, yeah, I'm gonna back out of that one. um, People have really strong opinions on food and diet and how we should look. So I'm gonna stop talking about that one as I wait for these brownies to cook. But I'm hoping if I can keep up with these streams, I have lots of plans. The Hobbit food, I've got the D&D foods, hearty stews and lamb and all that stuff. So um, yeah, more food is incoming. So for the rest of this month, what does our calendar look like for October? Hold on, show me the whole month. So today is the 2nd. We could do another cooking stream on the 16th, would be a fortnight. And then we could do another cooking stream on the 30th and do that one, a Halloweeny one. I'll see what Halloweeny stuff. We can do something for that. And then it'll be November. So that's when we start looking at we got options. We got options. Um, I will put up some polls, I think, in my Discord, exclamation Discord for those of you who are not in my Discord already. And then we can see kind of what works. And yeah, I've been wanting to do some of the hardier, like the D&D themed stuff. It might take a while, though. That's my only concern. Is some of the stuff like this is taking longer than it should have. I should have had the hot water and all that stuff done ahead of time, and that would have sped up this process. Oh, thank you, Chris. Um, but some of the stuff will take a while, so I need to kind of consider, whether people are willing to stick around and just shoot the breeze while we talk D&D food, um, or whether I should look at something that's not as long, like some of the Dune food is not too long. So we have options. I really really want to try some of the D&D type food because there's like some hardy dwarven food and some exotic elven food that my son won't eat. But yeah, we have things that we can try. So this has another 18 minutes left on it. And I forget, I've got a couple of discords that lambus bread is definitely on the agenda. Let's see. Let me see here. Let me go get the cookbooks and we can look at them. Oh, I always wondering, like, do I should have them ready? Do I look like I'm prepared for stuff, or do I just fake it? And see, there's the Fallout cookbook. There's the Dune cookbook. Hobbit cookbook. Another Hobbit cookbook. I want the D&D cookbooks. Where are they? Okay. Oops. Naturally, they're on the bottom shelf because, well, they're heavy. In my defense, I put the heavy books on the bottom. But so this one is the one that I'm leaning towards because they both have amazing looking stuff. I would love to cook like that. I mean, I promise you my food will not look Yeah. That is a professional chef and professional photographer making, the food look that good. But here, so the you're gonna be disappointed because what they announced before is there's 4 DLCs. We've had two. The first one was the statues, and the second one had some content with the hamster wheel and all the stuff that goes with that. The next one's going to be cosmetics again. However, they also said that there's going to be a restructuring of the deep desert around the same time. They said spring's the next quarter, where the expectation is that they will be putting the deep desert back the way it was and adding another map that would have the tier 6 stuff on it. Let me get the Hobbit cookbook so we can look at the land of spread. But as far as new content, I don't know. It'll be the second quarter before that DLC comes, but there'll still be drops and things. So let me see if this one has something like land of spread in it. Don't put my glasses in the floor again. Bread, elven bread is by. All right, let's look at elven bread. Nope, that's not land of spreads. That one's going to be just hobbits. What we got over here for? I've seen different bread recipes. It's not shortbread. It's because that's a sweet bread. It's kind of like a roll. It is not as yeasty as a full-on roll. But yeah, I want to make that too. But the Heroes Feast, so it separates the food out into human, elven, dwarven, and halfling. I want this. I want this very much. So like a sample menu has a braised beef, bread, onion soup, and gingerbread. All right, so that would be a meal. The Elven has High Harvest Puree. I don't know what that is. Wood Elf for salads, dragon salmon, and meals end. So that kind of thing. That's human cuisine. Traveler stew. It wouldn't be an inn if it didn't have stew. I love a good stew. It's got to have like little pearl onions in it and like some good beef. Carrots can't be too mushy. Iron rations is so iron rations is 1.25 pounds semi-firm or firm cheese like Asiago, Gouda, Monterey Jack, cut into cubes. Then it's 10 ounces of hard salami, a cured sausage, or something hard like chorizo or pepperoni or beef jerky or something like that cut in bite-sized pieces. Then 12 pitted dates, dried figs, or dried apricots, probably some combination of 1 cup roasted nuts like almonds, pecans, cashews, pistachios, or a mixture. 4 handfuls of wheat crackers, and 4 whole pieces of fresh fruit such as apples, pears, bananas, oranges, or 4 small bunches of grapes. And that would actually be a really great something to have when you're playing D&D or your tabletop role-playing game as a table snack. That actually looks really nice. And the ingredient it's just you can put it divide it up on plates, so you could just put it Sword Coast seafood bouillabaisse. It sounds very complicated. Anything with bouillabaisse and it's scary to me. Pan fried knucklehead trout, braised beef. This is the recommended menu item for the main for humans. 3 pounds braised beef roast, trimmed with excess fat, salt and pepper. 2 tablespoons of a natural tasting oil like vegetable oil, canola oil, safflower, or grapeseed. 5 yellow onions, thickly sliced, 1 teaspoon of dried thyme, 2 teaspoons ground ginger, a tablespoon of flour, hard cider, preferably pear, 3 ripe but firm pears like Bartlett or Anjou, cored and cut into pieces, apple cider, and parsley. And so it's going to be a sweet, um, but it's going to have the ginger and it's got a little heat in it too. So um, that could be really good actually. Golden brown roasted turkey with sausage, stuffing, and drippings. I ain't making that for you guys. That's like a whole turkey. That's not gonna do it. I like turkey, but not enough to eat a whole one. Gردats is mushroom and cheese. It's olive oil, lemon juice, salt and pepper, 24 large white button mushrooms, 5 cloves of garlic, breadcrumbs, parsley, shallot, thyme, dry sherry, um, peppadew peppers, Parmesan cheese, and cream cheese. That sounds like stuffed mushrooms. That sounds really good too. Hand pies. Should we, if you're adventuring, wrap it in parchment paper and take with you. Dark molasses nut bread. That could be good. Candied apples. Yeah. How are we doing on time? 10 minutes left. I can smell it. I'd probably also serve this with like vanilla ice cream um, or whipped cream, something to add some sweetness to it. Fried spiced potatoes. That sounds nice. Portable buttermilk biscuits. Buttermilk biscuits. If you've never had real buttermilk biscuits, absolutely. Some noodles, glazed ribs, venison pot roast. Venison's hard to get though. You have to know a butcher. Onion soup, which sounds really good. The tavern steak, which is looks like it's on cheese. Nice. I need nice knives. I don't have any nice knives. Gingerbread men, which look quite fun. And then we have Elven cuisine, which would probably be a little bit lighter. What was that? High harvest puree is a 4-pound butternut squash cut into 1-inch cubes, 4 cloves of garlic, 3 tablespoons of olive oil, pepper, salt, and thyme. And you roast the squash and then you stir it all together. Interesting. The elven bread that they have is 2 8-inch loaves of this rolled bread, which could be quite nice. I think it's yeast, milk, honey, egg, butter, salt, wheat flour, and then the filling is sugar, flour, and cinnamon. So cinnamon toast. Wood elf salad, looks like a salad. Drow mushroom steaks. If you've ever had the opportunity to have big portobello mushrooms, you can grill them. They taste like beef. They just look good. Cherry bread looks like some like a dense fruit cake. Asparagus and butter, seafood and rice, dragon salmon, black pepper, salt, pepper, uh, vegetable oil, butter, shallots, thyme, a full body red wine like a Pinot Noir, or a Zinfandel, chicken broth, and chives for garnish. That sounds really nice. Vegetable stew. Looks like a ratatouille, actually. It's a veg. How we doing on time? 7 minutes. I'm boiling over here. Mm. They have a dessert called Meals End that looks very messy. It's 3 cups strawberries, sugar, heavy cream, plain Greek yogurt, and meringue. So yeah, I think they call it like that. It's like an eating mess to me. It's a big old glob of stuff. Nothing wrong with that though. Dwarven cuisine, bangers and mash, quite nice. Um, something they call tide me overs. Beef, pork, onions, and a smattering of seasonings in balls. Those look like not meatballs. Could be nice. Fire lichen spread. Miner's pie looks like a cottage pie. Potato and leek soup. Smoked sausage and kraut with dwarven mustard. Sounds hearty, doesn't it? I miss having a good bratwurst. Get them here. Corned beef and cabbage. Are dwarves English? Hey, Deli Dwarf homestyle porridge. Dwarven flatbreads. Orange mountain duck. Sauerkraut's good. Black pudding, which is not English black pudding. This black pudding is one I might try if I can find the ingredients. Brown sugar, espresso, Dutch processed powder, cocoa powder, cornstarch, salt, egg yolks, heavy cream, whole milk, butter, vanilla, Kahlua, brandy, chocolate, and whipped cream. And that's what that looks like. That is a dark chocolate pudding. Fair enough. Not everybody likes sauerkraut. Kind of like the boiled peanuts. It's okay. You don't have to eat them. We are now in halfling. We got cheese, which is a cheese fondue, stuffed egg battered toast, which would be stuffed French toast. Chicken something dumplings. Yeah, they were talking about boiled peanuts earlier. So it's chicken stew with it's chicken and dumplings. Hogs and veg rolls, which should be pigs will like it. Melted cheeses with chunky tomato sauce. That's gonna be a nice cheese soup. Hey, if you like them, you are welcome to them. Lurwood salad, cherry vinegar, lemon juice, Dijon mustard, shallots, salt and pepper, spinach, goat cheese, and spiced pecans. That actually sounds really good. Everything soup. It's like a chicken soup. See, I would love these, but you can't get the spiraled hands here. Well, the sauerkraut is. I've had some brands in the States that were really bad, and I've had some that I really like. So I think part of it too is finding you could have gotten some that just wasn't very good. Also, things like red cabbage. It makes a nice something with apples in it. Good. Rose apple and blackberry pie. Cream puffs. Those look really good. Doesn't look like something. And an uncommon cuisine. Mark and the Cruel's flame roasted halfling chili. It's spicy chili. The orc bacon that we had, which was all right. Fire spiced abyssal chicken kebabs. Those are good. Twice baked cockatrice wings. Chillings. Braised lamb. Deep gnome trilmac pods. Looks like hot pie. Peruvian butterscotch pudding. So Strahd is up here eating butterscotch pudding, which is hilarious to me. It does look really good, but the recipe is a bit complex because I looked at it. It's got butter, brown sugar, water, corn syrup, which is hard to get here, lemon juice, salt, cream, whole milk, egg yolks, cornstarch, vanilla extract, scotch, and sweet whipped cream. I also don't get any, I really don't buy hard liquor. So I would need like the little sample bottles, which you really can't get here either. Or the little poor people wino bottles. Fish fingers, shepherd's bread, elixirs, it's like a tea, Evermead, dwarven mulled wine. Looks really good. Hot spice cider can be nice. Cocoa broth. Okay, here's one called the Mind Flayer. The Mind Flayer has 3 tablespoons peeled and chopped ginger. Most then sugar, lime juice, grape juice, concentrate, vodka, ice, and seedless grapes for garnish. That could bite. Fireball, 1.5 cups bourbon, red pepper flakes, cinnamon sticks, brown sugar, and hot water. If you're feeling particularly masochistic. Something zombie served in a coconut. Ugh, can't stand coconut. But yes, there's lots of food in here I would like to try. Uh, Finding ingredients and that sort of thing is the big challenge. How are we doing on time? 28 seconds. Move these out of the way. Move my chair out of the way. Turn that off. I'm not hide my phone this time. Boiled peanuts are what they sound like. Peanuts that have been boiled. And often you can buy them by the can, the old can of peanuts and yeah. I don't like peanuts to start with, and boiled peanuts just don't do it for me. But hey, people like what they like. I'm not gonna judge. I'm gonna have my bratwurst mit Käse on kraut and Senf, and I'll be happy. Okay. Ooh. Speaking of being happy, um, you find a rack to set that on to cool it. We're gonna give that a moment, and I'm gonna try and pull it out of the rack hole. Try being the operative word. That does look really nice. See if I can show that to you. Behold. My brownies. Or boiled peanuts? No, it still looks like peanuts. It's just they've been boiled. You can Google at your own risk. Just say it. Well, peanut butter is different from boiled peanuts. As much as I don't like peanuts, peanuts are kind of a miracle food. They're super high in calories for their size, and they're good kind of fat. and protein, and that's why aid organizations make all of their emergency food out of peanuts because they're super calorie packed. Peanuts and coconut oil and butter and things just kind of and oats. You just pack them into a little biscuit and super calorie packed and usually fairly easy to digest for someone in malnutrition. So finger toes crossed. Oh yeah, yeah. Get that back out of the way. So we're gonna give that just a few minutes to cool so it's not molten on the inside. And then I will get some milk and cut some brownie for the birthday child. Hey, by all means, however, keep in mind as a German that many things Americans call food are not food in Germany. So, consume at your own risk, moon pies and Twinkies and that sort of thing. Little Debbie snowballs, the hostess. Oh goodness, those pink snowballs. When I was growing up, my babysitter used to take us to the discount bakery store. Because most towns had one where they had. It was just the hostess. It was a hostess or little baby one had like a discount store, and it's where when they would go out to restock the main stores, anything that was like a day from expiring because it's baked goods, and they would pull all that stuff and they would put it in this other secondary store so you could come buy it at a cheap discount. And she always would get these snowballs and Swiss rolls. I like Swiss rolls. Don't like snowballs though. Don't like the texture of them. So let's get yeah, we got milk. Yeah. Gonna give that just a few minutes. The only problem I'm having right now is the fact that that had butter on the bottom of it and now it's getting off my counter, but it's cleanable. It's very washable. It's all good. It's all good, right? Right. I'll go over it better later, but that will suffice for now. And my counter is very slippery. So it happens when you rub hot butter all over it, right? I don't think I've ever made brownies so good now. The only thing I'm seeing is one side is a little darker than I'd like, but I bet that the middle is just right. I've never liked the edges of brownies. Some people like the crispy edges from the pan. I'm not that person. I always take the middle. So I said the hostess snowballs and things are not. I don't think you can get them in Germany. I don't even know if they make them still anymore. To be honest, it was sugar, sugar. That's all there was, just sugar. The last time we were in the States, we went and got some little Debbie Swiss rolls, which I love Swiss rolls, but they make them with soy flour now, and I can't have them. I didn't think to read the label the last time we were there, and I ate one, and I'm like, oh, sick. So if I want Swiss rolls, I have to learn how to make them myself. And saw in the Fallout cookbook, there is it's called a quantum pie. It's the cream pie, and the base for it is supposed to be made from Oreos, which I also can't have because um, it's made with soybean oil. I need to find a homemade recipe to make bake Oreos so I can have for a chocolate crust for any cream pie that I want, whether it be a cheesecake or a cream pie, whatever. I'll have to you have to learn to figure that one out too. Oh well. First world problems, right? Alrighty. And I don't like the edges, so I'm going to cut that and pretend it's not there. And I'm going to very hot. Mm-hmm. That's very dark chocolate. So yeah, we're gonna do small serving. And some milk, my mantra. So they did warn you if you want them to be pretty and even to chill it first, but they're best served warm. So taste best warm, but look best cold. Texture wise, these are amazing. They've got a nice inside. It's very hot. It's got a steam just got me. But yeah, they're not. They're going to be a little crumbly. Pass this over to him. Some milk and see how they are. Give that a try. It might go better with some milk. If not, we've got cake for tomorrow. Okay. Alrighty, my turn. The technique, um, all that's really good. I might cut back on the time a little bit. It actually said 35 to 40 minutes, so I did it the minimum. I guess it gets a lot. And I think next time, some milk chocolate mixed in and less dark chocolate. So let's hold it up to the camera. You can see the texture. It's definitely denser than a cake. Let's see how that tastes. Hot. Very hot. Definitely dark chocolate. I think the texture turned out really, really good, but it might not be sweet enough for most people. You might want to come back. I used it too dark, I think. Oh no, I'll have to try it again. Well, saying that, this will get consumed. This will not go to waste. However, I think um, if you don't have something sweet to serve with it, like vanilla ice cream or like whipped cream or like cherry something or something sweet to offset, it is good. It is good, but I can see how small portions or if you're, a certain type, maybe a really strong coffee to offset. But it could be too strong for some people, especially if you're wanting something sweet. This particular with the like the 75% dark is going to be a little too kind of. It's got a little bit of a bitter taste to it, but I like it. I don't know if someone's gonna like it. I do have some red velvet cake as a backup, so we can make cake tomorrow if necessary. Oh no, more cake. Mhm. But yeah, the texture on it turned out really, really good. I think you can see that really well. Kind of turned out, and it's not overly dense. It's not dry. It's a little cakier than I expected. I expected something more fudgy, but no complaints. Mm. The recipe is good. I think I just grabbed 2 dark chocolate. It's Oreos. Um, I can't have Oreos because they're made with soybean oil, and I'm allergic to soy. So better with milk or too dark? Very bitter. Okay, that's okay. If you don't like it, I'll take it away. So lessons were learned. Yeah, I can't have soybean oil. So that actually has impacted. It impacted more in the States because soybean oil is in everything. It's usually mixed in vegetable oil. If you look at the labels for a lot of vegetable oils, it'll say a mix of and soybean oil is in there because it's cheap. And there's nothing wrong with soybean oil for most people. And they use it now here since the war in Ukraine. It gets cut, soy flour gets cut into a lot of breads. It makes your breads nice and light and fluffy and me sick. And Reese's cups here, the sugar they use in it now is made from soybeans, and so it makes me sick. So, oh no, I have to eat less sweets. Horrors. But yes, texture-wise, these are good. I will. This will be something when we go back because I asked earlier about redoing recipes. This is what I learned not to do and redo. This one will be one I will do again with different chocolate. But yeah, it's definitely got a bitter taste to it because I went too dark with the chocolate. Too dark. Mm, mm. And maybe a few minutes less on this oven because it went a little long, I think. But yeah, I will eat it in time because that's got a lot of sugar in it, a lot of fat, a lot of butter. Mm, mm. Would you like to see tonight's desserts? We made brownies. I'm just gonna match those. Very good. They turned out really nice. And the techniques for getting it out of the pan worked really well. Techniques for everything worked. I said I learned, I need to get the water boiling faster, sooner, to have it ready. Not those kinds of brownies, regular brownies, and not use as dark a chocolate. I might go um, 2/3 milk chocolate and one slightly dark chocolate, and that would probably make it a little bit more tolerable for him. Some people just don't like dark chocolate, and that's okay. But yeah, so this is tonight's stream. Thanks for the subs. Thanks for all the goodies, and thanks for sticking around for the brownies. And I think all y'all know me. I will be in the Discord later. And yeah, thanks again for coming by, and I will catch all of you guys. Hopefully Saturday, I'll be back with the hopefully the rest of the Lego Thopter to finish. I hope we can get it done in one run because we took 3 hours for the first one. hopefully, if I plot out for 3 hours I'm sorry. If I plot out for 3 hours for the second half, that'd be 6 hours total. In theory, we could finish it. We need, who is it with the magic eyes that can see all the pieces, in case I lose it again? Need to make sure everybody shows up. But I will catch everybody later. Have a good night, and I will see everybody very, very soon. If I can find the right button.